Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's First Stand 2025 matchup.
That showed their tenacity, their resilience, and their skill as a team. They were down so far, they turtled up, they defended, and they found some amazing opportunities to come back and win the game.
Now they're going to have to do it on the red side. HLE choosing to move back into that priority pick, taking away the Victor from Vladdy. The Zyra also going to be removed from the pool. Nidalee and Yone rightfully going to be taken away from Peanut and Zeka. The Kalista is up. An important pick. Because with the AD carry pool shrinking, I feel like KC can't afford to give that over, but Skarner also going to be open here in Game 3.
I'm with what the analyst desk was saying at the top of the day. I think Kalista's a bit of a trap pick right now. I don't know exactly how great
but
I'm
Viper's
feeling on it.
Kalista?
Okay, all right. You got me on that one. But the Skarner is going to be considered higher priority, at least by HLE, as we still wait for our last ban of the first half from KC.
The Braum.
Okay.
An early ban. Interesting. So I imagine Casey's going to go for an early rel, would be my instincts from this.
But we get the first hit
Jace.
on the Jace. This has been a first half ban from KC both times so far. They did not want to give it over to HLE, but this time around, it's time for some Zeus Jace.
I don't remember what skins they chose, but I want to say that Zeus is... He either already has one or he's getting one.
I'm really bad at this skin
I'm
lore.
also really bad at it
I'm really
too.
bad at it, so I'm just gonna, whatever you say, I will blindly trust as fact.
Do not do that.
You could say anything and I would believe it right now.
There's too many T1 skins that I've honestly lost track. The Sejuani gonna be locked in on the side of KC.
Okay.
Are they gonna go for the early round like I predicted? The Braum ban suggests that to me because like Targamas, oh my goodness.
Wow, they
This
slam
Draven.
the Draven.
Okay, so I mean, this shouldn't come as a surprise, but most professional AD carries were Draven one tricks at one point. Kalist is no different.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a massive fan of the champion. Domestically, he and Hansama would often trade the pick. So to pick it here with confidence, I like it. But again, it leaves the rel open. And with the Braum ban, I'm surprised that they didn't put a higher priority on it because Alistair is gone, Leona is gone. So I'm curious as to what their response is going to be. Maybe they've thought of a range support, something like the Seraphine, but I don't know how much of a good matchup that is necessarily into the rel.
Well, let's see what HLE want to go for here. I would expect some kind of an AD carry since that pool is already so pinched, like you're talking about. Get Viper on something that he'll feel comfortable into this matchup with. And okay, it's Kai Sorrel, bottom lane for Viper and Delight.
I mean, already you can see KC easily getting themselves a winning bot lane 2 versus 2 with this setup. The question is, do they even want to lock in support? Maybe they want to get top laner. With a lot of top laners available without that pool being pinched, there's an opportunity. Maybe they want to grab something like an early Camille. Sejuani Camille could be really strong on the top side of the map. But maybe they're hesitant to lock it in early.
Choices.
Oh, he's got full tank. Okay.
Just gonna try to tank it out against the Jace. Obviously, Jace is going to win early in a ton of matchups top lane. They're just gonna say, okay, fine. Shake your hand on that one. We're gonna go down in CS.
But at a certain point, I think it definitely swings in the Scion's favor just because of how tanky he gets.
He just gets so tanky. I mean, you look at the tooltip for Soul Furnace at your average point in a 30-minute game, and it's just, he's gonna have like 3 or 4 Giants belts worth of health.
Right,
it doesn't matter that he might be behind in gold because he's making it up with the Soul Furnace bonus. So that'll be Kana's role in this one. Go down early, absorb the pressure, become the giant meat wall, and man, between Scion and Sejuani, this front line for KC is thick with 3 Cs.
They are looking...
I mean, am I wrong?
I mean, you are 100% correct. I had to put the C's in order, and then I realized. Yeah. AP Jungle is going to be the target as the Lilia is taken away. Diana, maybe? What else are they thinking here? Honestly, when we get this deep in the pool, my predictions get a lot weaker. The Gwen. Gwen jungle? Maybe they think the Jace is going into the mid lane and they're worried about the flexibility of the Jace.
Perhaps.
I think that's not a bad adaptation. Pike also going to be taken away from Targamas.
I mean, hey, if they're willing to slam Draven, they're probably willing to slam Pike next to it. All right? I can respect that, as unorthodox as it may be.
I like the Nautilus ban a lot from HLE. I think it makes so much sense. But now what do you even go if you're KC? Support pick has to be what you lock in here. Question is, what is it? Is it something like the Seraphine? Smiles, confident on the face of Targamas. I like what he's thinking. I just want to know what it is.
Reveal. What's it gonna be? Rakan.
Okay, a little more timid than I was expecting. When I think of bot lane powerhouses, Draven Rakan is not exactly what springs to mind. But Draven as a champion gives you a lot of agency in the bot lane 2 versus 2. You can afford to pick a slightly weaker support, more so for the team. It's just great follow-up, and it allows you easy pick potential when paired up alongside the Sejuani and the Scion, who already act as a very effective front line.
So let's see what else we get out of HLE here. I still need to see a jungler. Okay, we're gonna get the Wukong here. This can be very, very strong against immobile carries, especially short range ones. And there is the Vlad for HLE.
Now I'm assuming this Vladimir is going to top lane. As an answer into the Scion, you get so much free scaling as the Vladimir into the tank because it's very difficult for the Scion to punish you. Now, unless Vladdy has been practicing his Scion mid, and we're about to get something crazy from Ghana, which I'm down for. But it looks like it's going to be Rise in the mid lane going up against the Jace. Now, domestically, we've seen a few Rises in the LEC. A lot of them have not worked out. Admittedly, that was because Caps brought out things like Anivia into it. And,
Season 1 champ versus Season 1 champ.
Yeah. But what it does give you is side lane threat, someone that can match in the... I would still argue that Vlad probably outscales the Rise on the side lane, but at the very least you can provide that route with the phase rush that I'm expecting to come through from the Rise. You can create that distance. The team fight threat from Hanwha Life, I think, is very lethal. Yeah. Like, you've got a lot of dive here. The Rel, the Wombo combo potential of Vladimir plus the Wukong, the potential of the Kai'Sa cleanup, Jace providing that extra bit of poke on the backline while all of that. Meanwhile, you've got this front to back, but the comp is very short range from KC, with both Draven and Rise needing to get actually quite close. I feel like champions like Vladimir, Rel, and Wukong really benefit from that environment. So I do think, again, that Hanwha Life have a lot of tools. I think these team fights are going to be quite difficult the later into the game it goes, but KC surprised me in the last game with how they executed on the fights, and so I'm looking forward to being surprised again.
I mean, when you look at this is so much damage on HLE, right? Like, everybody that's not Rel is a damage threat. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's so tanky, man. Like, Rise can get very tanky even. You've got Sejuani and Scion, like we already talked about. Like, Rakan's ability to weave in and out of the fights makes him slippery to kill. So I'm curious, can KC pull off the miracle, or will HLE continue their undefeated series streak here on day 4? It's game number 3. HLE playing out of the blue side. It's exactly like you said, Betty. Zeka will be the Jace pilot here in the mid lane up against Vladdy's Rise. It'll be Zeus on the Vlad versus Kana on the Scion. Both of them just looking to stack up and scale here in top lane.
It's like it. Zeus has been so monstrous throughout this series. Even if they didn't win in the previous game, like, it's so difficult to avoid his constant impact. And on this Vladimir, he's going to be looking to do the same thing. He had a strong performance against CFO. He's looking, I imagine, to get a ward in. That's going to be Zeka's responsibility. That was a close one.
You could see he walked up right outside the range of where the Decimate would be, even giving it the extra, just like slight bit of distance beyond the graphic, because we know that Sion's Q is dishonest.
Yep, it certainly is.
He knows his ranges, as you might expect from the mid laner for the best team from the best region.
I will say that in the finals of the LEC, KC said we don't want Kana on tanks. We want him on carries. And so for them to kind of go back to this approach of full-on front to back, on the one hand, it's a little bit concerning. But on the other, I feel like that what they've recognized is that trying to...
Wow, bottom lane, 2v2, immediate scrap as Delight is knocked up into the air. Targamas there with a grand entrance. Flash out from Delight. KC unafraid.
I mean, they do get the cleanse out from Kalist, but getting the flash and the ignite out from Delight and getting a really good spot. Keep your eyes on the junglers right now, because I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them make a beeline towards the bot lane. Delight gonna look to get the quick remount. Is this... I don't think Delight is low enough to threaten a dive. He has that shield.
Yep, just Hex Flash down there, trying to get a little bit of extra EXP. Couple more minions
Look
ought
at
to do it.
Sejuani right now. Look at Yike. He's making a beeline towards the bot lane. And they know exactly where the Wukong is as well.
Yike might step up, try to challenge for these chickens. No, instead he's gonna look mid, because Vladdy's down to 100 HP. Zeka gonna have to try to get away from this one. Turns back towards Vladdy, knocks Yike away. Zeka needs a little bit more damage, but it's not gonna happen. It's first blood to KC.
They need to push out this wave, but great pathing from Yike. I thought that his sights were set on the bot lane, but instead he finds an opportunity in mid, alleviating some of the pressure and setting up Vladdy for success.
Delight and Viper now still just enduring down here in the bottom lane. Draven also, because of the way that Stand Aside just flies out instantly, very easy to deny Rel the engage that she wants if that ability is not wasted on something else beforehand. Now Yike also still hanging around down here in the bot side river, waiting for the Scuttle Crab, kills that one on spawn, and you can see Peanut still working through his own camps. Yike has not bothered to clear through his own bottom side yet, just spending the time on that gank in mid instead. Here it is one more time, a look at it.
And the observers highlighted the vision for us. They knew exactly where Peanut was. Yike is able to circumvent the vision, stay in the fog of war. Zeka, with his level advantage, gets a great trade onto Vladdy, thinking he has an opportunity for a kill. Then the level comes up, and Zeka, I mean, he just has nowhere to go. He knows it's not worth flashing as we see the dive in bots.
The attempted dive down bottom lane, yeah, it doesn't work out, but they're going to force the summoner spell. The flash from Viper, critical there. That one's off the table now, so KC might be able to make a follow-up play in the future.
And look at how much farm is being lost here as well. Peanut doing what he can to steal away camps from Yike as he is playing for his lanes right now. This may come back to bite him later. Remember, the entire bot side is still up for Yike. He hasn't actually cleared them yet. And he's not going to realize this as Peanut is taking away the camps, and there's nothing that Yike can really do about it.
I mean, he'll walk up, he'll see that Wukong is getting most of them, and then easy for Peanut to just jump back over the wall there with the clone. Kalist and Targamas, they're ready to scrap again with the HLE bottom lane. Viper with some quick feet, getting away from that one. Crash down from Delight on Kalist as Targamas continues taking shots there from Viper. HLE doing a good job getting away from the engage there. Viper, if he would have got caught out by that grand entrance, could have been in some serious danger.
Those deep wards are so important as well as Delight remounts.
Oh, Targamas with the flash engage with the grand entrance. Delight stunning up Kalist, wants to keep him away. HLE comes out on top here in the 2v2. Delight wants more, but Yike is first to join the fight. He wants to see if he can get this potential kill into Viper. Flash in, and Yike gets it done. Now Peanut shows up. He wants to kill off the enemy jungler, but it's not gonna happen. Yike can't get the extra kill onto Delight, and now Peanut looks for more. He uses the W forward, but it's flash for flash as Kalist barely survives.
KC are just over-forcing right now. That play from Targamas, it was just too disconnected as Yike was way too far away from the rest of his team. We even saw Vladdy roaming down to try and help with the play, but he's going to lose a wave in mid. He is going to catch this farm in the bot side. But again, look at the minimap. Yike says that he's on his way bot. They make this play committal onto Viper, but it's way too deep. The Ignite comes back up. They have the level advantage as well. He's only level 3. Delight ends up picking up the kill, which is kind of the good news on the side of KC, but Kalist is so low. Yike is able to get this kill. Delight plays this super well though, gets the remount, brings him underneath the tower, keeps him CC'd here, allowing for Peanut to pick that one up. And then good awareness from Kalist allows him to flash away from Peanut, who is hungry for a kill.
I love the fan cam. She's just saying like, no, get out of the turret, get out of the turret. Too good, man. KC 2-2 with HLE, 6.5 minutes into the game, going after the first Drake now for themselves. Remember that in the previous game, it was HLE getting all the neutral objectives early on. This time around, same story isn't getting told, as now Zeus and Vladdy will be facing off in the bot lane matchup.
I think Vladdy likes this matchup a lot more. Vladimir definitely cannot fight you as much as the Jace can. The cross map is going to come through as Hanwha Life secure themselves the first 3 grubs. I think it would be a little too dangerous to contest this given the push happening on the top side of the map. But hey, Kalist does have Prio in the mid lane as well. If they could maybe steal 1, it would be worth it, but well, actually, they have enough time here. Spotted up by Targamas. Okay, they're going to say, you know what, we're happy with the dragon. That's all good.
Yeah. Maybe try to throw a cheeky projectile over the wall, but they don't even have one that has enough range. Gleaming Quill is pretty short. Viper not getting all the way out of the decimate, kind of knowing the ranges on that one to be able to tag him even if you don't get the knock-up. Delight ready to rejoin his AD carry up here. Nice use of the Shattering Strike. Crashes right back down on top of him. Quick and easy trade for the HLE duo. As now the ulti attempt from Kana finds a whole lot of nothing. Nice footwork there from HLE to avoid the engage attempt from KC. They were sending a lot of bodies up here for that.
They certainly were. Viper being level 6, definitely a scary situation. No one is sitting in mid lane though, is Targamas.
Targamas could be your target. They wanted to see if Kalist would step up close enough for Peanut to use the Nimbus strike into the Cyclone to throw him up into the air, put the pressure on the flashless Draven. But Kalist staying far back enough that he does not put himself in that danger. Zeka wants a couple of auto attacks here on the turret. Just the one plus the Void Grub damage should be enough to get that second plate. And Yike is still hanging around top lane, spending all the time for his lanes like you were talking about earlier, wanting to facilitate success for Kalist, who remember last game against multiple world champions, against all odds, against 3 dead inhibitors, ended up with what, almost 20 kills to win the game?
The only problem for KC is I think they're getting a little too hyphy around how many plays they can actually make in the other game, because Peanut, his pathing and what he's doing is still very smart. He just stole away the red buff because he knew that Yike was just overstaying on the top side of the map. Meanwhile, Zeka's getting a lot of farm isolated in the mid lane. And now I think they've caught out Kalist, completely isolated. There's nowhere for him to go.
There it is, Peanut and Delight working together. Plenty of damage, and Viper will show up to claim the feat of warfare, claim the kill, and critically, that's a kill on Kalist before he ever got any cash-ins. So he loses so many of the stacks with no payoff.
And this is the thing. So much time was invested covering for Kalist on the top side of the map that they knew that Yike had nowhere to go. You had to clear on the bot side, which means that they can say with confidence that it's going to be a 2 versus 3 on the top side, and he can afford to overstay because all of his camps are still up. Look at the minimap. All of Peanut's camps are still available, so even if he spends a little bit of time here, it doesn't really matter. So they find that crucial pick. It crucially goes over to Viper, and after all of that bullying that was happening in the laning phase, that's basically been removed. He's even in farm. He is ahead in experience. And Hanwha Life, even after all that pressure, they've managed the other game well, and now they're punishing KC successfully.
Speaking of early game, we are just about past that point for Mr. Zayas here on the Vladimir. Level 8 and about almost halfway there to level 9 once the transfusion cooldown is maxed. It's pretty impossible to die unless your opponents are going to spend a lot of resources guaranteeing it. KC right now going to spend resources moving into the enemy jungle as Zeka gets discovered. Realm Warp ready to bring in some firepower from Vladdy. Zeka caught unawares out of position, trying to get away. Cannot do it. KC beautifully done to catch Zeka off guard.
Really good use of deep vision on the top side of the map. They'll be able to steal away the blue buff and deny him a lot of farm. I like to see the proactivity still panning out for KC. Targamas crucially does need that level 6. Wants to hover around Kalist, making sure that he's able to get that XP with the grub spawning in 40 seconds. Zeka, of course, will be back out onto the map. But a quick recall going to come through as the TP is now invested by Zeka.
Both bottom laners also with their teleports ready to use to join this grub fight if that's what the call is going to be, a full send for that set of grubs. Also, a little bit under 1 minute until the next dragon spawns as well. Zayas continuing to just keep the pressure on Kana down here in the bottom lane. Keep this wave pushed up. Make it so KC knows they're going to lose resources if this Scion is ever not in position. And Zayas, of course, the Empowered Transfusions just make it so easy, man. Your health stays topped off. You're never going to be in any real danger. KC moving into the topside river. They're ready to contest for grubs.
Yeah, you can see this Vladimir just continuing to ramp up. He is going to be a problem later. Crowd control is so crucial. But anyway, let's focus in on the grubs.
Okay, let's focus up as the supportal combat starts off in the bottom part of the topside river. Delight and Targamas just trading meaningless blows with one another as Peanut and Zeka have control over the grub pit itself. Working on the second grub over the wall. Nicely done from Yike. The immediate drive-by for the smite on grub number 2. Yes, it's only going to be that single grub that they get, but at least it will stop HLE from hitting the huge all 6 point.
They don't take the gamble of going for a fight. You remember, this Rise is still ramping up. Like, you've got a Tear and a Rod of Ages with 1 stack. Yike sets his sight on the mid lane, though. It's going to be a difficult collapse. Cleanse still available on Viper.
You know, it's interesting, Betty, is because the gold lead is so small, it might as well be meaningless. But I feel like it actually does favor KC because more than the gold lead for HLE is all on Delight. And support gold really usually doesn't mean that much, as KC is going to start up the Dragon for themselves in this bottom side. Zeka putting a ton of damage into the top lane tier 1 turret, but not enough to fully kill the thing before Vladdy arrives back.
Yeah, the thing is, because of the steal had come through, and the call from Yike was that, oh!
Peanut jumping in on Kalist. He wanted to play aggro. He wanted to go after Viper, and HLE knew it. Peanut ready with a punish.
Peanut is so smart with being able to catch his opponents off guard. We saw very early on the flash response from Kalista Peanut, but this time around he found a great angle. We look back at this play onto Zeka. He was caught out thanks to the deep vision invested by KC. I think he wisely got a nice knockback onto Vladdy, meaning he didn't have to give the kill over to the Rise, forcing Yike to pick that one up. Meanwhile, Peanut here in the mid lane cleverly punishes the aggression of Kalist, not really giving him any room to move. He's a little frustrated with that one, as he should be. And that's going to be another kill going over to Viper. And look at that gold lead really starting to mount between the two AD carries.
Yeah, you can understand the frustration there from Kalist, especially on a pick like the Draven. And against this composition that you already highlighted, there's so much AoE and CC threat, and you're so short range. You know you need to be ahead early. You need to be playing from a position of strength. You can't just sit back and shake hands on farm. And then as soon as you step up, boom, Peanut's there, instant death.
Kalist has completed the Infinity Edge, going for a lot of damage very early on. Often we'll see things like the Bloodthirster, but Raw AD is the name of the game.
I mean, Infinity Edge first item does mean that 1 out of 4 attacks that you get the crit, that thing is a chunk wherever it hits.
I believe the expression is thick with 3 Cs.
Yes, sir. Now you got it. Now you're speaking my language. And that's what we're going to look for. Can Kalist get the crit that has thick with 3 Cs?
Yeah.
Is that what happens?
I will keep my eyes out for it.
All right, there's our MasterCard lane economy snapshot showing biggest gold lead in the game is for Viper over his individual counterpart. The biggest individual gold lead going the other side is Kana on the Scion. 616 gold up over Zeus right now, who is very low HP on this Vlad. Nearly killed by the Whirling Death. Remember that it has extra execution potential based on your stacks. I think it actually would have killed him if the second half would have hit.
Interestingly, they've conceded the top tower completely. That should be the feats of strength going over to Hanwha Life. Unless I've miscalculated,
nope,
you actually got the
3
kills first. Yeah, they've got them.
They've got the boots with the little red hue.
Yeah, they actually sent the Rise down towards the bot lane. I am shocked by how much free reign they're giving Zeka. He's largely uncontested in a lot of these side lanes.
Oh, Peanut jumping in on towards Targamas, but Yike waiting right in the brushes for him. Viper trying to back up his jungler here. Viper tanks the Glacial Prison, then uses the cleanse to guarantee no extra follow-up. Kana also TP'd into that. KC really trying to commit to the pick there, but Viper doing a good job. Normally it's the AD carry that everybody else protects. This time around, he was the one making sure the team got out okay.
I don't love this TP though. It's such a big summoner spell invested, and while Zeus did use his TP to get to the bot tier 1, you lost a lot of farm as the Scion in top lane. So I think, yeah, it was a bit of an overcommitment, especially given that they'd already got the flash out from the Wukong. But still, not the end of the world. Dragon spawning in about a minute and a half. Kana's not going to have that one available. They'll likely move Vladdy up towards the top lane, given that he does have the TP. Kalista's going to be forced to catch the mid wave. The Herald currently going in favor of Hanwha Life.
Okay, also checking in on itemization. We've got 2 tiers in the mid lane, both of which are getting closer and closer to being fully stacked. 267 for Vladdy on the Rise, 306 for Zeka's Jace. Neither one of them has the respective item completed yet anyway, but those are going to be massive power spikes for either carry whenever they get completed. Herald was secured uncontested by Peanut and HLE. Where do we expect to see them use this? Is it just a drop it mid, use it for pressure before the Drake?
Yeah, I imagine so. Like, it's... You got to remember that Kai'Sa also relatively short-ranged. Jace does have a lot of poke, but in order to actually siege onto those towers, it can be quite difficult, especially when approaching a champion like Sejuani. So the Herald will be a really effective tool at just breaking open that tower, giving you access into the enemy jungle, setting yourself up nicely for the Dragon. 2-0 is the Dragon lead in favor of KC for now.
Yes, sir.
Hanwha Life lead with the gold lead, with slight advantages coming across on the side of Hanwha Life. No second item completed, just a few components for the time being. But Hanwha Life still feeling pretty confident with how the game has gone so far. They've done a great job of escorting Viper through what was a rough laning phase and really setting him up to be the carry of this game.
Second BF sword purchase for Kalist, but also critically, no boots even of the tier 1 persuasion for the Draven. If he gets caught out, he's in some serious danger. Sejuani ulti whiffs, Viper with a flash away from any potential follow-up. A lot of damage over to Zeus, he might just die. He manages to turn into a puddle in time, as Kana's gonna be your next target now. Peanut jumping in for the multi-man knockup. Kana's gonna drop, but now you gotta wonder, what can they do with a dead body? He zones Viper away, the Herald gets summoned up, but it doesn't even get to do anything. Zeus critically not dying there, as now Peanut wraps around from another flank. Delight and Zeka looking to chase the rest of KC away. Targamas will be your next target. Zeus coming back in now as well. The enchanted blast cone. If that's a regular cone, he doesn't get back over the wall. It's the difference between life and death for Targamas.
What was crazy about that play was, oh, Kalist, good damage.
Oh, the flash engage coming out from Yike, but Viper still had the killer instinct to get away. Does HLE get punished from this though? Everybody else gets away in time. It looked like Kalist and Yike not quite on the same page. Kalist backing up as Yike flashes in.
What was crazy about that play was just before Zeus dies, he gets in the Herald. He then uses it to knock up a bunch of the KC members, but we got to get back into the action as the Dragon is being started off.
All right, Dragon's up. Everybody's alive back on the map again. Zeus flying over the wall, here with the blast cone. KC gotta be careful. Vladdy jumps in, but he jumps right in on top of Peanut. Now Zeus hitting him with the tides of blood. Flash over the wall from Vladdy. Viper and Delight trying to reorganize their positioning here a little bit further. KC trying to make their entry as a 4-man squad. In goes Kana, but he goes too far. Kimtech Drake over to Peanut. Zeus on top of Kalist. He needs a transfusion and he's hounded. Targamas gonna be your next target. Yike picks up Viper, but that's all they'll get. 3 for 1 plus Dragon over to HLE.
The coordination is all over the place for KC as they desperately try to contest this Dragon. We look back as the Herald comes through. Remember, Zeus ends up becoming the target as they desperately try to lock down Viper. A really nice flash from him. The CC comes through. Look, he'll use the pool, and then he'll get into the Herald. He'll get the knockup onto Kana. They'll turn their attention. A 3-man knockup comes through from Peanut, allowing Zeus to get away to safety and Hanwha Life to get that first kill. But now, crucially, Vladdy goes over the wall. Kana, I mean, like 2 members are behind the wall, 2 members are in front of it. They have no clear target to focus on. Hanwha Life patiently attack the target that's in front of them. They try to dive onto Viper. It's just poor coordination once again from KC, and HLE punish it. Nice flash investment from Zeus to lock down Kalist. Zeka is there to support him, and even though Yike does eventually get Viper, they lose the Dragon and they lose the fight.
What a massively long fight. If you go all the way back to where it started, all the way through to how it ended, the goal, HLE really did not want to allow KC that sole point state for the rest of the game. They do end up denying it, and now Vedius, this gold lead is nearly 5,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where HLE have been doing a really good job on the side lanes, and I think that KC have been trying to overforce a lot of plays with Yike looking for pick opportunities. And I mentioned earlier that the farm may come back to bite him. Look at Peanut. He has a full level over Yike now. He has the Trinity Force completed, quickly working towards the second item. And Vladdy, it's so easy for him to get punished because of the short range rise. So even though KC would ideally love to play this front to back, I think they need to move away from constantly trying to catch a Viper out and instead just focus on killing the target that's in front of them.
Delight wanted to clear away that control ward. Targamas keeps him away from it as he does have backup nearby for the punish if HLE overstayed. Viper also getting closer and closer, that second item fully completed. Remember that for Kai'Sa, these item completions are huge, not just for the general reason that it's more power, but the extra evolutions on the abilities as well. The gold difference powered by AWS. You can see this here on your screen, just the blue staircase climbing up. Normally the color associated with KC, but working against them here in this one, trying to hold on and stop this from going any further away. I feel like they could still maybe find a good fight. Getting this potential pick on the Peanut here could be the start of that. Nice flash away from the Arctic Assault, trying to use the second half of the Cyclone to get away. Peanut still in a ton of danger. Nice use of the ulti there from Kana. Peanut still alive somehow, but now the counter kills will come out from KC to HLE. It's another one picked up. It's 1 for 1 as HLE trying to get a little bit more. They won't find anything here just yet.
Vladdy's Realm Warp got interrupted by the Atakan, meaning that KC had to commit.
Zeka goes in. He wants Kalist. He tries to get away there. A little bit more damage will do it. And Zeka with the solo kill sits him down.
Beautiful commitment from Zeka. Kalist now goes to 0 and 4 on the Draven. The game is quickly falling out of control.
Oh.
KC, are they getting collapsed on?
There's so many pings here. Okay. Oh, that was that was close, man. The way that we had the vision toggled off, I felt like it was shark-infested waters.
Yep.
But luckily for KC, they escaped. They do have a ward on the Otacon. They know that HLE is starting this up. It's not a super fast take, it's just a two-man. Viper and Zeus, TP coming in now from HLE. The Otacon is not gonna drop before the contest arrives. Yike is here, KC is here. Delight over the wall in the Dragon Pit. Zeka here in the front line, gotta be careful about that. The Otacon taking low, down about 2,000 HP. Targamas going in with a two-man knockout, nicely done there. But into the back line goes Viper. They've already found another kill, as well as the Otacon for HLE. Now Vladdy's gonna die too. It's an absolute slaughterhouse, and it's KC falling to the floor. Triple kill for Zeka's Jace.
The smite doesn't come through from Yike. Kalist is nowhere near the fight, and Zeka is just demolishing KC in the pits of Otacon. Hanwha Life are decimating KC in this third game. They're going to take another tower, and this game feels insurmountable for KC.
Okay, let's look at it again here. This is all the way back where Peanut almost got caught.
So Peanut, I mean, he buys a lot of time. Crucially though, look at this knockup that comes through. Oh, it was Peanut that actually got the knockup, which means that the Realm Warp doesn't come through. Vladdy realizes the flank is coming in from Delight, so he respects that. Viper turns his attention onto Yike to get that kill. And then we find this solo kill from Zeka. I mean, he's 2 levels up. He knows he has the damage. Patient with the explosion on the EQ combo, and he's able to land that last auto. This Otacon just melts with the duo of Viper and Zeus. Yike tries his best to get the steal. He doesn't quite secure the smite. Peanut ends up securing it. Meanwhile, Vladdy is the only carry. He's the only damage dealer. And quickly he becomes the target. Viper and Zeka know who to lock down. Zeus and Delight deal with the front line, and it just becomes a one-sided affair as Kalist joins to watch his team fall apart.
Yeah, Kalist only joining the fight in time to see the remnants of his team fade away, and you can see the frustration on Yike's face, and it has to be such an annoying scenario knowing that you just won that last game, trying to find these engage opportunities, and HLE just playing like monsters, man. Zeus now maybe in some trouble. 1v3. Vlad's pretty tough, but I don't know if he's that tough. Nice shutdown for KC. Vladdy getting his first kill of the game with a response from HLE, starting up the Baron on the other side of the map. They're 7,000 gold ahead, but they're 1 man down. Yike's making his way towards the pit. Baron down to 5,000. Yike throws out the Glacial Prison. Delight's job, mark that enemy jungler, keep him away, stop any sort of a steal. HLE will trade Zeus for the Baron.
And I think that's a worthwhile trade. They'll extend the goal lead even further. HLE now maybe looking for a fight. Targamas is forced to disengage. The tower, at the very least, is going to go the way of KC. Vladdy, level 16 on the rise. That Rod of Ages coming in handy. But at the end of the day...
At the end of the day, Yike might see the end of his day here real soon. Luckily, has teammates nearby, Kalist and Targamas, ready to protect their jungler as KC scramble to defend their own jungle. HLE, with the confidence and power of that Red Bull Baron buff, willing to step into enemy territory, steal away whatever they can, just try to make that vision that much darker, that much scarier. It's still a 7.5k gold lead, and now Zeus is back on the map.
The game feels very difficult for KC to turn around at this point. They have a front-to-back composition, but HLE have so many damage threats. Zeus level 16. Yeah, he gets caught in the side lane, but Hanwha Life know exactly what to do in this situation. You cross-map, you focus the Baron that just spawns, and I think you could argue maybe they should have given that kill over to Kalist, but it ends up being picked up by Vladdy. He's very close to that Rabadon's death cap. Would be a nice item spike for him to grab.
Targamas looking to threaten Zeka there, maybe just make him sweat a little bit, but no, Zeka calm, cool, and collected on that one. TP from Zeus to join up with the rest of HLE here on the top side, putting pressure onto the tier 2 turret. Cannon minion ready to keep on free firing into that one. Voidseeker is going to interrupt the potential recall of Vladdy as Zeka keeps the pressure on a second tier 2 turret. This one over in mid lane. Remember, the tier 2 in bottom is already gone. 4-1 in the turret count, favoring HLE.
HLE have such a massive level advantage as well. Another tower will fall.
Yikes, sliding forward there with the Arctic Assault. Gonna lose the Glacial Armor. And now HLE continuing their pressure, continuing their push. They want to try to go in, but they only find the CC on Zayas and Delights into the back line. One to hard force the fight. Viper's ready to follow. Two already down on KC. And Vladdy's about to join them 6 feet deep. Another kill almost comes through. Yike barely walks away as they at least get a shutdown onto Zeka. Peanut and Zayas chasing after the remaining members of KC as HLE will leave Viper in the enemy base to destroy the inhibitor. Kana trying to rough up the minion wave so that Viper can't just walk in and keep trying to end the game. There's not quite enough time for that, but the base of KC is broken.
Hanwha Life return to business as usual. A nice engage comes through from Delight as CC is thrown onto Zayas, but there's no follow-up. Kalist gets chain CC'd, he gets locked down as Viper comes in towards the back line, assists the rest of his team, and like you could just see the dive threat on the side of HLE. Zayas, Peanut, and Viper make it look so easy. The base now falling apart, inhibitor gone. Hanwha Life, they're likely going to wait for the next dragon to spawn, set their sights on the final 2 outer towers, and looking to close out this series in convincing fashion.
Nothing other than just a completely random perfect pick, I feel like, onto Viper and Zeka both, is going to put KC in a spot to win a fight from this position. It's a nearly 10,000 gold lead. It's all of the map that belongs to HLE. And again, what we were talking about, the damage on the composition that HLE has drafted, everyone that's not Rel is a damage threat. And Rel is ready to set it up for everyone else. Kana forced to flash away there as Delight made the engage. Just so much pressure from HLE.
Vladdy able to clear out that wave, but look at the bot side.
Peanut jumping in on Kalist. Killer Instinct follows it. Draven's dead before you can blink your eyes. Targum is about to follow as Yikes your next target. The Sejuani trying to slide away, but Peanut takes him down. HLE have already killed off 2, and they're looking for even more. Delight finally gets traded back, but Vladdy's Seraph's Embrace is the only thing keeping him alive. The Realm Warp doesn't matter. He dies to the Hemo Plague. Targumus survives with 100 health. Peanut still chasing after him, getting juggled around a little bit, but it doesn't matter. HLE is on to the Nexus itself. It was a valiant battle from KC. They proved that HLE are indeed mortal, but they are some damn tough League of Legends players, man. HLE, despite the fact that they may have gone the distance, will do it in style and take down KC 2-1.
I love the draft from HLE.